Good evening. Welcome to the third week of the live interaction session for the course Multimodal Urban Transportation Systems. The instructor is Professor Orkopal Goswami from IIT Kharagpur and I am Shankadeep Pramanik from IIT Kharagpur. In this live interaction session, we generally discuss about what has been topics that has been covered in the lectures in this week, and then we shall proceed to some question answers. These question answers will be helpful to solve the assignment problems as well as for the examination. So in this week we are basically discussing about public transportation, and to sustain any public transportation systems, fare is one of the main problem, and financial viability of a system must be assessed before introducing a public transportation systems. And this fare that we have discussed, that largely come from the mm, uh, mm, it is sometimes comes from advertising, or it is the transit authority that mm, it takes from the people. And we talked about different types of fares and different classifications and how they are usually determined and what are the factors that affect these fares. And then we also discussed about the subsidy that the government gives this subsidy generally for different in different levels for the economic and efficient movement running of the public transportation system. And we discussed this in the lecture 11. Then in the next lecture we have discussed about the transit marketing, and what is transit marketing, what are the needs of the marketing, and how different with different strategies the people can be influenced to take the public transportation, and so that the revenue will be more, as well as it will be beneficial for the environmental perspective, and from other congestion and other perspective also, that people will more and more use the public transportation. And for that, different market to make the public transport more interesting among the people, the marketing is very necessary, and different types of marketing strategies we talked in these lectures. Then we discussed about the rail transportation. Rail transportation, there are different types of rail transportation comes under overall rail, like suburban rail, rapid rail, light rail transit, or monorail. These all have some advantages and drawbacks, and there are different scenario on which this type of rail transit system is economical, based on how many people will use it, or uh, how many population this rail transit can serve, or the distance this rail transit can cover. Based on all of this, the rail transportation is generally designed, and suitably different types of rail is provided. Then in lecture 14 we have discussed about intermediate public transit, and about different types of intermediate public transit, what are the advantages and issues with faced by the people for using this intermediate public transit. And these IPTs are the door-to-door service, so it is very useful in the urban areas, and uh, providing a multimodal uh, connectivity to different sections of the city. And if the if this intermediate public transport is very organized, then more and more people will be shipped to public transportation. So there are different advantages of this, but still it is not well developed in many cities, and there is no proper policy or legal framework. Because of that, this IPT faces a lot of issue, and sometimes it is not viable for particular cities. Mm, and then we have discussed about measuring performance of a transit system. And there we have discussed about two perspective. One is from passengers perspective, and one is from users, transit authorities perspective, and how different perspective can be accommodated to uh, for developing a good mass transit system and multimodal transit system. These things were discussed in lecture 15. So this covers the whole week. Now we'll move to the question answers. First is, if a city has a lot of middle or upper middle income people, then fare elasticity will be relatively less, more, no change, or both. A and B. You can post the answers in the chat box also. So by fair elasticity, it is basically that how the if the fare is changed, how the ridership will be changed for a city. Like if the fare is increased, then whether people will still use the mode or they will shift to other mode, or maybe private transportation or any other competitive modes. Similarly, if the fare is reduced, then whether people from different other modes or private modes will more inclined towards shifting to the public transportation. These things is captured by fare elasticity. And if a city has a lot of middle and upper income people, then the fare elasticity will relatively be less, because the upper middle little change in fare will not bring much change in ridership, because they are generally increasing a few rupees will not affect the ridership of middle or upper middle income people, so it will bring a less change. Whereas if the fare is increased, then the problem will be for the lower middle income people, because they are more sensitive to the price. Therefore, if the price is increasing, they may shift to the mode where the price is not that much uh, mm, high. Maybe if the metro price is increased by few rupees, then they might want to go by bus, which may be a bit cheaper than the metro service. So if a city has a lot of middle or upper middle income people, then fare elasticity will be relatively less. Next, from the point of view of sustainable traffic management, ratio of public transport and private transport should be 75 is to 25, 50-50, 90-10, or 10-90. So in this case, yes, the correct answer will be option A. Uh, we discussed in this while discussing about the things that are affect the fares, that for a city it will be desirable for from the point of view of sustainable traffic management to have a modal split of 75-25 between public and private transport. If this ratio, the private transport is increased, then there will be situations of congestion, and the public transport may not be in some cases viable, and not be economical in cases. Therefore, if the ratio is 75 and 25, there a good multimodal public transportation system can effectively be used. So 75 is to 25 is the correct answer. Next is, following image is an example of which type of marketing strategy? Marketing for revenue, outreach program, branding, none of the above. It's a image of Ahmedabad Janmark Limited. It's a like logo and of a public transportation system. Logo of public transportation system. Yes, right. Branding the system. So we have, while discussing about different types of marketing strategy, we have discussed marketing for revenue outreach programs and branding of the system, where selling of souvenirs of transit system, advertisement at bus stop, printing advertisement on ticket. These all are comes under marketing for revenue. Outreach program is conducting promotional events to create awareness, outreach to media forums, or bringing some celebrities, so that the public transportation system is getting more and more popular. And branding is the using some naming or logo or slogan, so that different like people, those who are visiting a particular place, then they may also be familiarized with the that transit system, and they will be more eager to travel in that uh, transit system. So that will bring a better branding of the system. And this is a logo of the public transportation system, and therefore it is a branding system type of marketing strategy. Next is, what type of light rail system is depicted in the figure below? This one: cross sectional through tunnel, viaduct, separate ground level track, shear road. Option B, right? It is a viaduct. There are different types of there are different types of light rail system can be used. If the light rail system is in a through the tunnel under the ground, then it is cross sectional through tunnel. Then viaduct is, it is over a viaduct, or at some elevation, not at the ground level. This is, so this is viaduct. Then separate ground level track, which the vehicles are separated from the light rail transit track. And last is shared road, where vehicle and rail transit can move on a particular road, maybe without interfering each other much. So in this case, the correct answer will be option B, viaduct. Next is, what type of monorail system is given in the figure? Right, it is LWEG, always. Uh, there are two type of monorail system we have discussed. One is this one and one is this one. So as the figure suggests, it will be option B will be the correct answer. Next, what is the deterrent to the rapid rail transportation system in developing countries? It takes too much urban land, it creates lot of noise, it doesn't provide the quality of service needed for people of developing countries, and capital cost is high. Correct. The correct option will be option D. So rapid rail transit is quite costly. It consists of separate station, efficient signaling system, high platform or boarding alighting facility, automatic closing of doors. So even in some cases, some elevated corridors, and the cost of the elevated track is also very high, like 5 times of the surface track. So rapid rail transit is quite costly. Therefore in developing countries it is very sometimes it is challenging to introduce this kind of system. Therefore option D will be the correct answer here. Next is, which of the statements are true with respect to transit supportive areas? It is the area capable of supporting hourly weekday transit service. Fare box recovery is 33%. At least 3 households per gross acre or 4 jobs per gross acre, and service span is 24 hours. So more than one answer can be true. So while discussing about different measuring performance, we discussed about this transit supporting area, and this transit supporting area is defined as an area capable of supporting hourly weekday transit service, and there are at least 3 households per gross acre, 4 jobs per gross acre, or it assumes 33% fare box recovery. So these areas will be called as transit supporting area, where the transit is mainly supported these areas. So here it is the area capable of supporting hourly weekday transit service. Fare box recovery is 33%, it is assumed actually, and at least 3 household per gross acre or 4 jobs per gross acre. These 3 will be the correct answer. Next question, comfort and convenience of transit service depends on passenger load, reliability, travel time, all the above. Correct. All the above answer are correct. So we discussed this, that comfort and convenience of a transit service depend on passenger load, how much passenger will be in the transit service. Also it depends on reliability and travel time. So these all are the correct answer here. Next is, what can be possible issues that might arise due to very high frequency of public transportation service? Bunching of buses, budgetary issue for agency, variability of load in buses. Yes, D will be the correct answer. Here, uh, due to very high frequency of public transportation means suppose you are standing in a bus stop and a bus comes for your destination, then after within a very short period, like 1 minute or 2 minutes, there another bus comes of the same route. This type of phenomena is called bus bunching, that bunching of several buses together, maybe at a particular bus stop, or also it can happen in sometimes in different segments. So it is generally happened due to very high frequency of the public transportation, or maybe you can say bus in this context. And it creates the budgetary issue for the agency, because the agency have to bear the cost of transporting for the two different buses. But in the reality it may be possible that because two buses are coming very closely, so one bus may be loaded and another may be not at all loaded. So majority of the people may board on the first bus, and the second bus is comparatively uh, um, very less loaded, and this creates the variability of load in buses. Load means here in number of passengers, you can say. And that's why the budgetary issues comes. So all the three options are correct here. Then it is accept or reject statement. Quality of transportation service desired has an influence on fare structure. Correct. The statement will be accepted. The fare structure mainly determined by three factors: the cost borne by the transport undertaking, the quality of transportation desired, like the frequency, speed, access distance, etc., and competition from other modes of transport. So if the transport authority is bearing a and giving subsidy and all, then the fare may be less. Then the quality of the transportation desired, if people the transit authority thinks that very frequent transit system, or mm, very frequent operation is needed, or maybe a AC buses, or a good quality of transportation is needed, and in terms of speed, comfort, convenience, in every aspect, then the fare might be high. And also the competition from other modes is also another factor, because if the competition is very high, then generally transit authority will try to reduce the fare, or at least in a competitive fare than other, so that people will transit in that mm, system also. Therefore this statement will be accepted. What is this type of fare depicted in the figure? Yes, flat fare. We have discussed about different types of fare. Flat fare is whether you are traveling 2 kilometer or maybe you are traveling 10 kilometer, but the fare is totally fixed. And distance fare is up to a certain kilometer the fare is fixed, then it increases exponentially. In sectional fare the fare is fixed for a particular section, then again it increases. Similarly it is for zonal fare also. If you cross one zone, then the fare increases. So these are different types of fare classification, and here this is the flat fare type of system. Next is accept or reject statement. Special fare can be divided into distance fare, sectional fare, zonal fare. Yes, option B will be the correct answer. Variable fare actually depends on distance, sectional fare and zonal fare, but special fare are concessional fares for maybe specific category. Therefore the statement will be rejected. It is not special fare, it will be variable fare, then it would have been true. Next, which of the following affects the transit fare elasticity? Level of service, trip purpose, income level, all of the above. So transit fare elasticity is measured by percentage change in transit demand per percentage change in fare level. So if the fare level is increased or decreased, how the demand will be changed. Based on that, the transit fare elasticity is measured, and this transit fare elasticity varies with trip purpose, income level, and level of service. So all the three options are true. Option D is the correct answer. Which of the following is an example of marketing for revenue strategy? Here it is marketing for revenue. We have mm, we already discussed these three, that marketing for revenue, outreach programs, and branding of the systems. And marketing for revenue is selling souvenirs of the transit system, advertising or printing advertisement on cricket. Outreach is conducting promotional event to create awareness, outreach in different forums, or by involving different popular celebrities. And then branding of the system using naming, logo, slogan, tagline. So here selling of the souvenir of the transit system is the marketing for revenues. So option A will be the correct answer. Next is, which of the following rail based urban public transportation comprises a single rail serving as guideway? Suburban commuter rail, rapid rail or metro rail, light rail transit or monorail system? Option D will be the correct. Here these are the rails. So here in the monorail system, it only comprises only a single rail serving the guideway with this vehicle. So monorail system will be the correct answer here, but in all these cases generally two rails are present. What is generally the correct decreasing order of cost per kilometer required for construction of different rail transportation, that is surface level, tunnel board, tunnel cut and cover, elevated? So different types, the highest cost will be associated with tunnel board, then tunnel cut and cover is a bit less costly, then elevated, then surface level. So tunnel board is 2, then tunnel cut and cover, then elevated, and surface level. So option B will be the correct answer. Next question, accept or reject statement. As per guidelines of MOUD Government of India, monorail is a better option for peak hour peak directional traffic of greater than 20,000 by 2030. Accept or reject statement. So mm, there was a chart that there are different criteria to choose a particular mode for a particular area. Generally, if the population is very high, maybe more than equal to 20,000 by 2030, then metro rail is preferred. And if the population is less, peak hour peak directional traffic actually, if it is less than 20,000, then monorail or light rail are preferred. Generally metro rail are the capacity of the metro rail is more than this monorail or light rail, so it is preferred for peak hour peak directional traffic where the 20,000, more than 20,000 if it is expected by 2030, and where that will go where the population is very high, so greater than equal to 2 million as per 2001 census. So the population is more, that's why the travel demand or peak hour peak directional traffic is also high. But here in this case also greater than 1 million or greater than 2 million in monorail, but here the average length of the trip is 5 to 6 kilometer, whereas for metro rail it is generally more than 7 to 8 kilometer, and for light rail also it is long distance, but for short distance this monorail is preferred. So there are three things that for metro rail, light rail and monorail, if the population of a city is high, then metro rail or monorail. If the population is more than 2 million, then metro rail or monorail, and if the distance is less, then 5 for the 5 to 6 kilometer the monorail will be preferred, and for greater distance like 7 to 8 kilometer metro rail will be preferred. And for light rail, the population is less, where the population is less, then uh, the light rail is preferred, but it also depend on land availability and right of way available. These all things are also plays a vital role. So in this case this option will be rejected. It will be metro. If it is metro rail, then it would have been right. And for shorter distance like 5 kilometer, which of the following is generally preferred option? we already discussed here the monorail. For this shorter distance, the monorail will be preferred for 5 to 6 kilometer. Which of the following is a disadvantage of IPT? Comfort, convenience, environment friendly, provision of jobs, fair meter service. These IPTs are often in the urban areas operate as uh, mm, based on some fares and like fare meters, and these fare meters are often tampered, or sometimes these fare meters are faulty and people are charged more. So therefore this option is a disadvantage of IPT. And all these at the comfort, convenience, environment friendly, provision of jobs, these all are the advantages of IPT, but fare meter service is the disadvantage. Fill in the blanks. Transit dash is measured by percentage change in transit demand per percentage change in fare level. It talks about fare and percentage change in transit demand per percentage change in fare level. So it will be fare elasticity. Fare elasticity will be the correct answer. So that's all for today's session. If you have any doubt, then you can post in the discussion forum. Mm, and for today's session, that's all. Thank you. Hello, we have discussed the question. If you want to answer, then you can answer the question. First is, if a city has a lot of middle or upper middle income people, then fare elasticity will be relatively less, more, or no change.